going on, guys? It's Nolly the Gnome. Thank you for checking out my second video. So I just had a short break from work. I figured I'd log on to see what this week's quest entails for the Broken Shore scenario. I know there's been a lot of controversial discussions about this. Some people like it, some people don't, and I wanted to share my opinion with it. I know many popular YouTubers, McGurgle, Asmongold, Balur Gaming, Dalaran, they've all shared their opinions on this, and I feel the reason why that is because they're invested in this game, they're passionate about this game, and they feel that the game isn't hitting the same merits it used to, and I feel the same way. Now I'm speaking on their behalf, so I'm just going to speak on my own behalf, but that's why I feel so many people have already raised awareness about the situation. If it wasn't a problem, no one would have spoken about it. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. So the reason why this bothers me so much is because Blizzard, we've seen where Blizzard has been before. Blizzard has always been a video game, or Blizzard has always been a company that when they would create a product, their games were in another category. It wasn't a video game, it was a Blizzard video game. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the classics always existed, the Marios, the Zeldas, the Final Fantasies, they've always been great. You know, the music's been great, the characters have been fun, everything about it, the gameplay's been a lot of fun. But when Blizzard would come out with a game, I mean, there were games. There were games which were movable art, I guess you could say. That's what games are, like Zelda and Mario. It takes time, but when Blizzard would come out with a game, it was an epic storyline. It was more than a game. It was an experience. It was truthfully a virtual reality in beta form. Because when you played a Blizzard game, you were in their reality. Even on your shitty 24-bit computer, you were in Azeroth for the short time that you were playing Warcraft 3. And a big portion of what did that was character development. Chris Metzen, from my understanding, was a writer and artist, and he understood character development. He was incredibly passionate about character development, and it showed. Characters like Arthas, Jaina Proudmoore, Sylvanas, Thrall, they're incredibly well-developed, fully thought-out characters. And you say, well, Mario's a thought-out character. Not so much. Mario's very two-dimensional. You know a lot of things about Mario, but not in the same, you don't have the same attachments that you have to Thrall or Arthas or those guys. And I'll give you an example from something maybe a little closer to home. When you watch television shows, sometimes or when you know what situation's happening and the main character doesn't know what's happened yet, if the character's well developed enough, you'll know how the character will react to that situation before the character is put in that situation. So if you know Hank found out about Walter in Breaking Bad, the character of Walter White, played by Bryan Cranston, was so well developed that you knew how he would react to a situation before he was involved in that situation. And you only knew that because you've seen how he's acted previously, and you know his character, you know his ideologies, you know his ethics, his morals, where he decides to draw the line and what line he'll cross. Those are all things that characters are taken into consideration when developing someone, because it adds these human traits to them. And that's what was added to Thrall, added to Jaina, added to Sylvanas. I'll give you a perfect example. Sylvanas, who was a leader right now, she has a conflict where she has a problem where she needs to show her allegiances to the Horde, but she's always really had allegiances to just the undead and power and becoming a dictator and all this other stuff. That right there, that small duality that she's fighting with in her mind is already more complex than most characters like Mario. Mario is very two-dimensional. He's a plumber, he's fun, he jumps on mushrooms, he's got to save the princess, all that's great, it's established. But that's about all there is. These characters have trials and tribulations like real people. Similar to other things like, it's wonderful that there's a fire engine, I don't know what the fuck is going on, maybe they'll come to fix a Blizzard game. But I'll give you a few other examples. Homer Simpson. It's not serious like Breaking Bad. Neither is, Peter Griffin and Family Guy. But these characters are so well developed. You know what these characters are going to say, how they're going to act, how they treat their families. And they're stupid, silly cartoon characters, but it doesn't matter. What it matters is that the time and the effort was taken to develop a character. Where I'm going with all of this with character development is that the characters in World of Warcraft have been separated from other games because they've been so incredibly developed, like Arthas, for example. So when you implement them into stories, as we have done throughout time, like in Mists of Pandaria, you feel so immersed. You really care about the storyline. And that sort of dropped off around Warlords of Draenor. We really feel that in Warlords there's a big disconnect from story. Blizzard has always stated the story of the lore does not completely represent that of the gameplay. I understand that. For logistics reasons, you can't always make it completely accurate. But it's supposed to represent a little bit of it. That's the whole purpose of World of Warcraft, is to use the Creative Commons license, I believe, that exists to Blizzard Entertainment, so they can use the characters from the stories and implement them into the game. It's to make that connection. So even if you don't do it verbatim from how the story is, it should hold some resemblance to the story. When I logged on today, I saw the quest that was available. And the quest, I said, let's time it. I'm going to time this quest because it's just too damn short for a whole week's long worth of a quest. So every week we've been getting these quests. And this specific one took me 3 minutes and 45 seconds or something like that, as you can see from the video, which I recorded it. And I would have killed these 3 elites whether I had a quest to do it this week or not. And that's my point. I feel if they wanted to go this route, where they unlock it week by week, either do it, fully do it, and give us an immersive story that we care about, or don't. But to half-ass it like this makes us more salty, because we feel we're building towards something. The storyline, the narrative of this expansion is that we've landed on the broken shore because the Legion has finally decided to give it their all. We've been fighting them for many, many years, who knows, a millennia, who knows how long. But finally, they've decided that they're going to give it their all. They're going to give all the power they have, and we've never experienced anything like this before. It's an awesome story. We thought we've experienced everything, but never have we seen power quite like the Legion. So right there is an awesome story. So how come that power's not shown? We're nuking everything like there's no tomorrow. And with the item level scaling, it still hasn't made much of a difference. I understand the mobs are hitting a little bit harder. It's just more of an annoyance. I'm still nuking stuff. It's just taking a little bit longer to nuke stuff. I would have preferred it where I felt more strong. What I would like is leave the item level scaling out of it. Let me progress as I get better gear in the game. But in this specific situation, you should have made the scenarios either a scenario where you act with characters and you're in a scripted PvE event week by week. That would have been cool, where you just have a certain amount of people with you, and it would be stuff that you can't solo, but in this instant queue scenario, like an LFR or something, like to bring Black Temple. That would have been cool. It allows you to see a little bit more of the storyline. I feel this is just lazy. I feel that it's just lazy gameplay. They just said we need to just drag them out. 7.2 is not ready yet. I think more because there's still bugs in it, not because the story hasn't progressed along enough. I feel the story's just they're beating a dead horse. This story is being so dragged out. Nothing has happened in so long, and I've lost touch with the story. And Blizzard has never done that before. Blizzard has been so tight with all of their storylines that's literally what they have been known for, more than anything else, has been the cinematics and their stories, because they have such well-written stories. And I feel they've really dropped the ball on Legion, but especially it's been insulting with this patch and this broken shore situation. Every week, giving us a quest to kill 1 or 2 mobs that takes no more than 5 or less minutes of gameplay is not a story. I'm sorry. My point is, you're offering us a gift, and it's not really a gift. So just don't offer a gift. Just don't say don't call it content. Just put it there. Just say there's a new quest. Don't say a whole new zone. Because when you dress it up like that, you raise everybody's expectations, and then it gets dropped again. And that's why we're upset. It's not even what happened, it's the way it happened. It's that you guys made promises and we expected more than you delivered. And from a marketing perspective, it's not a great look on companies, because it makes us disappointed and it gives us lack of faith for future things to come. I just wish that from the future going forward, they'll really understand that what carries a brand is a story, not the content. The gameplay, everybody thinks is so important. I'm telling you, the story carries the gameplay. It's not the other way around. You can justify it to your blue in the face, but Overwatch has proven that. Overwatch is a pretty simplistic pick-up-and-play first-person shooter, but its success can be contributed to the characters. How well developed the characters are, their interactions with one another, their storylines. The characters are so embedded into the story, and they're so representative of the paradigms that are us, of how we act, how we feel, our emotions are, that we resonate with Overwatch characters, and that's why Overwatch is so successful. That's not to say that it was luck. That was very, very much, they were trying to do that. When they were creating the characters, they said, we need to create characters that resonate with people, characters that people relate to. That's why Overwatch is a success. It wasn't luck with Overwatch. They knew what they were doing. and they did it. And that's what Blizzard has done before as well. But this X Pack, I feel they really dropped the ball. I don't know if Jeff Kaplan and his team that have made Overwatch previously were with Blizzard, possibly, and that could have explained why, you know, WoW was so successful was because they were there and they were helping create the characters as they did for Overwatch. But then maybe when they left, they hired a new team, they couldn't do it. It's just it hasn't been the same, especially since Chris Metzen left. Chris Metzen cared so much about this story. He cared so much about the characters, the engagement in the community, and it shows. So if you're a content creator out there, if you're creating anything, and your heart and soul is into it the same way Chris Mettensen's heart and soul was into this game, understand that people do value it. Even if they don't thank you, they care. They seriously do, and you make a difference. If you care about something, it shows. It shows every time. And as someone who cares about this video game, not because I even want the best epics, but I enjoy the time spent with my friends on this game. The time we raid, the laughs, the shits, the giggles, the trials, the tribulations. It's the experience of playing World of Warcraft with people. And a part of that experience is enjoying the storyline. So if you like this video, please rate it, subscribe, like, give me any advice. I want to thank the overwhelming support I've gotten from other YouTubers. I didn't know how they would react to see another person in the pool of what they do. I thought maybe they'd be a little aggressive because they'd look at me as competition, but instead they've been incredibly supportive, offering me tips and tricks, and you guys know who you are. So I want to thank you guys very much. And the people who I haven't spoken to, I've just looked at as inspiration. You know, Asmongold, McGurgle, Bluer Gaming, Dalaran, you guys are incredible inspirations. And while you may never see this video, if you do ever stumble upon it, understand that you people doing what you have done have inspired people like me and other YouTubers, I'm sure, to create content because we enjoy so much what you guys have done. And it looked like so much fun that emulating just that created this. So you guys are trendsetters. You guys are all awesome, and please don't stop doing what you're doing because you guys are ballers at it. All of you guys are awesome. Thank you guys once again. This has been Nolly the Gnome. I look forward to my next video. Have a good day, guys.